I am your host, Leah Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance.
How great leaders inspire action in 2021. How do great leaders inspire action in 2021? Well, I believe there's a few key components to inspiring individuals to reach their highest visions, highest goals, highest intentions, best and most fulfilling purpose. And I know that most of us who have traversed 2020 together are ready, very ready to put it behind us. And those individuals like myself who work with leaders and entrepreneurs and business moguls who are trying to put together the plan for 2021 and bring their teams into an inspired sense of fulfillment and giving back, right, to those people that they serve and work beside, the energy to move forward, to move into a higher state of expression and prosperity and fulfillment and bounty for the whole intentional person and for what they really want and have in the world. So these are 4 things I want to share tonight that I think, whether or not we're talking about 2021, which of course in this container, it's moving away from something that was so difficult for a lot of people to just get to the end of, that we don't want to just kind of collapse at that, as we cross the finish line and lose the opportunity to really push off from that year with momentum. And real leaders, I think the leaders that are really looking out not only for their own vision of what they see in their work and their business, but for the people in their team, the people they work with. I work with a lot of coaches. So the coaches who are trying to instill with their own clients the idea that this year has this great opportunity to really be a pushing off point, right? We have the ability to take this next step, not slowly, not tentatively, but boldly, if we follow a few key points. So the first thing I want to share about that is something that I think is key to a real leader. A real leader is able to see in you your greatness, your capacity, your potential. And so if a great leader is there to really bring you and inspire you to do great things this year, one of the things that you'll be probably receiving from them, right, I think, is this, which is high expectations. They have high expectations for you. They know, think about that, they know that you can do it. They know that you have it in you. They know and see for you that if there's an edge you're coming up against, they're the ones to call it out. They're the ones to explain or share or guide or maybe even nudge you towards moving past it, because they have the highest expectations for your success. To me, that's a real leader. Someone who will hear you, right? See you, recognize your value, your skills, your talents, and your heart, right? That passion for what it is you want to bring to the world, and hold it high, right? Hold it high so you can see it and be aware of it and reach for it and be inspired by that vision reflected back to you in that highest of expectations. Now, here's the thing about that. The next piece I think that's so valuable when you have a good leader who's really seeing you and seeing what is possible for you. This one might seem a little off for some of you, especially if you haven't experienced this before, right? If you're surrounded by yes men or women who constantly prop you up with false positives and, platitudes, and whenever you have an idea or a suggestion, or you have an idea for where you want to take your business or your company, and everyone's just cheering, no one's really being perhaps a little critical or objective. This next piece, I think, is when you have a leader in front of you who is willing, right, to hold the high expectation for the goal, for the success of the goal. And also, as they're doing that, they're recognizing that part of what it takes to get there is this next one. Are you ready? Honesty. Honesty. Now, when we talk about honesty in this way, we're talking about what I've often been told, and I'm okay with that now after all these years, that I have a brutal sense of honesty. Like if you come to me, even when I was younger, by the way, if someone wanted to know, they would say this. This is how the saying would go. If you want someone to tell you something nice, go to so-and-so. If you want someone to tell you the truth, go to Leah. And I think when I was younger, it kind of hurt my feelings, I'm going to be honest. However, what I know now about that is people trusted me. They trusted me to give them an honest answer, even if it was difficult. And to me, a true leader has the capacity, again, to hold that high expectation and vision of your success and still come to the table with some honest criticism and feedback as necessary, right? To do that so that you know when you are leaning out, that someone's got their eye on you, they've got your back. They're looking for your next foothold, and they're looking for the one which you might fall off, right? You might slip or trip up. And they're there to say, hey, think about this. Maybe that's a great idea, and it could lead to this. Or perhaps before we make that change or that shift, or we give up this piece of our business that we've been doing for years, we should investigate just what it means to our clients, just what it means to our customers first. Again, it's not necessarily a no, but it is someone who's going to be clear and direct and honest with you about their perceptions, of course, but also from a place that is, to me, about integrity. Right? Someone who can say, look, if you ask me a question and you say to me, what do you think about this? I will give you my honest answer. I will also understand that it is my answer, right? I get that. And I hopefully, when I work with my clients, what they get is that that's true. When I say a thing, if I'm really in like awareness of what they're asking me, what they're getting from me is the truth as I see it. And I'm being honest. Yeah. So that to me is what leaders can do to inspire the people around them, to be honest, right? Even if the news isn't really rosy, we don't have to sugarcoat everything. I think it's also the sign, when we think about this, of respect. Think about that. Being honest is a sign of respect. It says that I believe that you are capable of handling the truth and that I want you to succeed. Remember, high expectations. I want you to succeed. And as a leader, I want you to know that there might be things that will help that happen and other things that could hold you back. And if I'm not honest about that, how do you grow? How do you show up and reach those high expectations? So honesty is really the second thing I think that is most important when we're talking about how great leaders inspire action, right? They will allow the person to be in a space where they can bounce ideas about what they want to do and get honest feedback so that their inspiration is such that when we take action, we feel more confident about the action we're about to take, right? Maybe not 100%, right? Like we always have to have a little bit of an edge. There's always that little leap that you have to take from where you are to where you want to go when you're taking action. But to have someone on your side who can see the vision and be honest about things they see that might be in the way gives you the power to feel confident to take that risk. Now, if you're taking risks, right, one of the things that helps is to have at least a lay of the land, right? We don't have to go off blind, off course, if you will. So the next thing that I think is so vital is someone who's willing to share practical steps, real step-by-step instructions, if you will, of where your next best steps can come from. And looking beyond that to what those steps might mean for you in your business or your life. Many times I share with my clients that I'm a holistic coach. I look at all of the things we're doing together, right? As an intuitive business architect, I'm looking at how you're creating your life based on your unique life purpose, which to me, it's mandatory then that we're looking at how your choices, even in your business, are affected, right? How your choices, even in your business, are affected with how you live your life, right? So the one thing that you're doing in your life that can support it or derail it, those are important things to think about. So when we look at steps, we're not just looking at, what might be the next business step to take, but how that business step can affect how you live and show up in the world. And ultimately, when I'm working with my clients, the thing that we're looking at is, are you aligned in every step that you take with fulfilling your unique life purpose? Does this help you get one step closer, or is it taking you further away? Because the real beauty of life is there are so many possibilities, limitless, really, possibilities about how to get to that expected vision and goal. The question becomes, is what you're doing, are the steps you are taking today going to bring you closer or further away from that fulfillment? And to me, a real leader will not only hopefully have some of those steps, right? Understand or see that vision for you and the steps it will take. But even if they don't, right? And you're in concert with them and you're creating those steps together, they'll be able to see it from a place that gives you literally steps to take, right? Practical, tactical steps, so that when you leave the conversation or you leave the container you're in, you are not hindered by just pretty words and platitudes. Because that's great. A vision is incredible. Having a vision that is tied up and tied into your unique life purpose is fundamental and not helpful if you're not able to take the next step to get there. So to me, knowing what those practical steps are and sharing them with the person that you're working with as a leader, that's key. Now, this last step, I think, can be a little strange for people when they're really high energy and they're very driven and they want to do it all themselves, and they feel like perhaps they're not even giving a notice to the fact that this is work. This is energy that you're expending to achieve a result. So no matter what that energy looks like, it's work, it's effort. And because you're changing things, life can bring some things to the surface that need to be addressed. And so to me, this last piece, if we're talking about a leader who really wants to help people take action, they have to have compassion. They have to have compassion for that piece of the person inside who is new, right? Like leaning into something new and perhaps addressing some stuff that comes up as they do it, right? When we're talking about making a decision and taking action and moving forward, we have to look at where we've been. And when we do that, we have to have compassion, not just for ourselves, but for the people we're working with. We need to know that the journey they've been on comes with some bumps and bruises. And if we ignore that, right? If you're around a leader, someone who calls themselves a leader anyway, and someone is really in a state of, let's call it trauma. Trauma is probably too strong a word. Someone's in a state of pulling back, right? You notice that. Have you ever been in that room and someone suddenly is kind of folding into themselves? Maybe they've claimed a big goal and suddenly the next thing you know, they've gotten really quiet and they've kind of withdrawn. A compassionate leader recognizes that, not just on the surface, but recognizes there's a whole person there and something clearly is coming through that's causing that emotion, that's causing that hesitation. And a compassionate leader acknowledges it. It doesn't mean that you don't need to move forward. It doesn't mean that they aren't still honest with you or holding you to higher expectations. It means that they're doing it with compassion, with recognition for what you're experiencing, because everyone's journey is so unique and different. And we don't always know why or what, sets somebody off as far as feeling suddenly unsure or nervous or anxious, or perhaps just confused. Confused about what's next, confused about what could happen next or what it will bring if they do make that move, if they do take that action. So the ability to be compassionate about the person's own journey and what it takes or what it has taken for them to be where they are. To me, that's one of those ultimate gifts a real leader gives the people they work with. It allows them to stand in the center and hold space from heart to heart. Because our visions come from our heart, right? They come from our soul, those big visions. And if it's been a long time since you've even entertained that vision, the chances of there being stuff to work through are pretty high. And a compassionate leader would know sometimes we have to go slow to go fast. Sometimes we have to hold someone accountable to their highest vision and acknowledge that the pain of not having it for so many years is walking right there beside them. And if you're truly around a great leader, that isn't something they have to try to do. It's something they are. So to me, when we talk about what it takes for a great leader to inspire others in 2021, these are the four most important things, the pillars, if you will, that will allow people to be in a state where they can jump off this year away from what happened in 2021, perhaps, or even better yet, use 2021 as the next explosive jumping off point for their lives and businesses. Because the truth is, not everyone had a horrible 2020. Some people, myself included, had an incredible year for their work, their lives, and their businesses. And this time can be the thing that catapults them to the next level if they're surrounded with the right leaders, the right team, the right people. So if you know of someone who is looking to find that moment and use it to catapult themselves, then I believe that's possible in 2021 like it's never been possible before. I believe that that is absolutely possible. I know that there are so many incredible leaders out there that have been given a big vision, and that whatever they experienced in 2020, they're more committed than ever to have that vision come true this year. And I believe the truth is it's going to take rolling up our sleeves and getting to work, taking practical steps every day to move closer and closer with full alignment of purpose towards those goals. And I know that for many people, that's going to bring things up. Some things that might be more challenging than others. And what I love about the opportunity to serve my clients is I get to stand there and hold space for them as they give birth to those new visions. As they reach out to their group team members and share successes and challenges and next steps. I would love to help you find your purpose and prosperity sweet spot. Thanks for watching. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and this is the Oracle on Purpose podcast.